everyone, welcome to this session of Friday. Happy Friday to everyone, by the way.
Yes.
This is the this is the last session of today. Today's the last formal session of the last day of the International Coaching Week in terms of formal sessions, virtual sessions. We have also at ICF more coming during the day today, and tomorrow we have an in-person event in Coconut Grove. So if you are in the area and you have the stamina and the energy to get up early and go there 8:30, that would be an awesome place. And today, what I wanted to do with the coaching education is basically a wrap up of what today's session of what this week was. And as we said in the beginning of this week, this is just the beginning of the conversation. We are at ICF South Florida, and particularly in the outreach committee, we're always looking for opportunities to connect with organizations and with organizations and with in order to, especially in this case with organizations in the education sector, to have an experience, to help them have an experience with coaching, and eventually be able to experience that in firsthand, and eventually decide whether this is an opportunity for them in terms of a solution or an approach that will help them face or contribute in combination with other things, of course, to prepare them for the future and to help them thrive at what they do, right? So I don't want to go very much into the who I am, but just a quick intro. So I am a PCC coach with credentials in executive coaching and career development and talent strategy, and I currently act as the VP of Outreach for ICF South Florida. This is what leads me to be in this session today in this role. I am also a leadership and talent development expert. I have an executive coach. I have over 20 years of experience driving business transformation through coaching, learning strategies, and organizational development in the corporate sector. My approach is systemic and I have a growth mindset, and I'm always very curious about how things work and how they could be improved and redefined to serve new purposes. And this is actually what took me a little bit to this particular series, what brought me to this series, knowing that, as I was commenting just before, the educational sector is not something that I'm familiar, especially in the United States, because I had been educated in a different system in my home country, and this is why I'm very curious about how this system works, right? From early stages, from elementary school to the higher education, everything is slightly different and have these particularities, and this week has been very helpful for me in many aspects, right? From the starting day with Dr. Tim Chansa, where he shared his view on how the systems are, the sector is structured, and moving on with different approaches or the listening to different career coaches, right, that deal with this. Not necessarily in some cases like Marina Kalakian related with the students, but also in the conversation that we were able to witness with Marisa and Karina about how career coaching can be useful at any point in our career, right? So what is the purpose of coaching in education series? What is that we want to do? As I was saying, is we hope to engage in collaborations with universities, with organizations, to support them in the different players, right? It can be the leaders, it can be the faculty, it can be the staff, and obviously the students too. So we want this series to be a catalyst for growth for those organizations and for the individuals in those organizations. Coaching, as I was saying, can support anyone and everyone in those organizations, can be the students, the faculty, the administrators, the leaders. Coaching can hopefully foster better leadership and enhance resilience and well-being, right? So there are different ways in which coaching can support different talent and people related strategies, and how in particular how you in this case in the higher education, how you take care of the students, how you help them and prepare them for what's coming ahead. And also what we have is that career planning is something that cuts across all of us in our professional journey. This is not something that we do career planning is not something that we do when we are at university. Actually, one of the most challenging, perhaps one of the most challenging events when we had to pick up a career, what type of education we want for ourselves. It can be challenging in the sense of, oh, I'm sticking with this for the rest of my life, right? So it can be a little bit overwhelming. But this is something that we eventually realized. Maybe we at some point in our career we said, okay, have I taken the right decision? Maybe there's another opportunities. As we grow, as we discover new things about ourselves, especially if we experience coaching, this is something that we will be able to reflect about and figure out what is it that I really want, right? There's this question that I always ask people, no matter the age, is what do you want to be when you grow up, right? So this is kind of a question that I try to pose myself also every now and then to figure out if I'm doing the things that really bring me joy, that really tap into my potential, that really tap into my strengths, that make me thrive, and obviously that help me fulfill the purpose that I had established for myself in my life. And in the sense is, yeah, it's maybe this is a good thing also because another aspect of career in education is, as I was saying, I come from the corporate world and have been one of my areas was marketing and communication, right? And when we were in marketing, when I was working for marketing, there is this term that is used as, it's called POMI. It's point of market entry. So this means that this is a particular group of or target audience that companies or brands use to that identify as the potential consumers of the future, right? And in this sense, students are the potential consumers of coaching in the future. But the thing is that we are not, I mean, I'm not saying that they are the plumbing from marketing or brand perspective that we want to push a product or a solution into their heads. I mean that after conversations with several people that have experienced coaching for the first time in their life, later in their career, they says, I would have loved to have this experience early on, right? Because it would have been a lot different. That perhaps would have allowed them to have like a vulnerable mindset, like a self-reflection mindset, like being more aware of who they are, what they are doing. And eventually, if they needed coaching at some point in time in their career, they will be kind of, oh, I have coaching. They know, they will have known already that this was a possible solution. Like we do, for instance, if we think about the learning and development frameworks, we know that a training can help because we come from a university where all the formal education has been there, and we know that we learn things through that. But as we grow, as we become adults, the andragogy says that we learn in different ways, right? We learn from experience, we learn through others. And this is when, in the case of coaching, falls into the social learning, into the way that we learn with the help or support of others, right? So this is different approaches that we as adults are incorporating and are eventually more effective. We will trust more what other people say. We will trust more the support of other people, or we will trust our own experience, or we will have less time to do certain things, right? Like a certification or a new whole career. So we tap into other things. So this is why I think it's also important how we can create more awareness about the coaching in this particular sector, like education, right? And again, I'm talking here coaching education, but higher education. But of course, this can totally apply to middle education, to elementary schools, and obviously all the ecosystem of players that they are adapted and tailored to the different audiences that we have. So what was our journey this week? And as I was saying, this series is just the beginning. International Coaching Week is the starting point of this conversation. We are going out there and we said, hey, we are ICF South Florida. We have this committee that works with the higher education in this case, or with education in general. And this program would like to create initiatives and collaborations with partners in the community that will be willing to go and collaborate with us and have this conversation. So we have this journey this week, just get us started. So we started with Dr. Tim Chansal telling us the higher education uniqueness, about the higher education uniqueness, and what are the particularities of this sector that make it challenging, or what are the opportunities that he also identified. And this led actually to an interesting conversation among the participants of that session that were bringing their views, were bringing their questions, and were bringing also their ideas. Then we moved in a session with Marina Kalachian, where we were exploring possibilities, right? She is a career coach and she works with students, and she was telling us about this initial contacts that I was referring to with coaching, with the students, with their career, with their future. When on one hand there's this huge white page where they have to design their future, that can be challenging, can create some anxiety, and can be nerve-wracking. But on the other hand, there's this kind of mindset that we have when we have that age, and when we have that when we are in that stage of our life where everything is possible, and when we eventually don't know what we don't know, and we are willing to tackle and conquer the world, right? So this combination of things, she expressed that, and she showed us some approaches that she uses with students to help them in that process, right? How to keep consistency, how to gain endurance, and knowing that this is going to be a marathon and not a sprint. And lastly, we have these sessions with Marisa Dividacio and with Karina. Let me get Obahimian. I was that they shared their story about how career coaching, how coaching supported Karina in identifying, redefining her perspective about herself, about her skills, her strengths, her purpose, and led her to a new adventure, right? And they share with us very openly that story, and how coaching was a powerful instrument for change and transformation. So this is kind of what we see. We have been able to see this week, right? And for those of you who were not able to there, and this is kind of a wrap up. And also, I would like to make it a conversation. So if you have been if you attended that, or if you have views, please jump in, raise your hands, and we would love to hear your words about it too. So with Dr. Tim Johnson, we talk about the higher education uniqueness, right? So he with the help of AI, he had created this visual that I like it very much. Well, about the university, the building of this university, a very traditional and structure, and yeah, I would say like a building that hides these silos in behind, right? So this number of silos, and this tap into the complexity and sometimes silo the structures that some universities, some organizations in the sector may have, right? With the different departments, the different ways of working, the different areas, the different faculties, universities and schools, and that everything is requires that even the fundings, the way they get the grants, they get the funds is diverse, and sometimes create some sort of tensions and competition for those funds, and this type of situations, right, that makes it a little bit more complex and harder to navigate for the players or the individuals working in those organizations. He also tapped into some, from his view, maybe as a misconception about what leadership means, right? What leadership is in the education sector. Perhaps in a more traditional view, leadership is viewed as those who had more credentials are the ones that are entitled to be leaders in these organizations. And yes, they may be, I don't know, I wouldn't say, from my view, I wouldn't say that they are leaders, but they can be authorities in the subject matter areas, and certainly they have worked hard to get those accolades and to get that reputation. But being a leader of people may need other things, right? It's not all of the diplomas that you may have hanging on your wall, or the badges that you may have on your chest. It will be more about other stuff, right? So this is why he was saying that the degrees is maybe different than leadership, and this is something that can be challenged eventually in the organizations. But related with that, obviously, there's the fact that there's a scarce leadership development. So how those leaders have been helped or supported in their leadership roles has not been necessarily the best possible way. So hence, this is kind of reinforcing something that might not be working and might need some adjusting. He also mentioned or shared with us something about the limited resources, right, and the high demands. Limited resources in terms of funds, but obviously this relates in the terms of the people that you can have working for you in different projects. So this comes with a lot of overload to some of the people. In particular, he mentioned, well, different players, but working in particular with staff or faculty that find themselves having to tackle multiple things with limited resources and in environments that may not be as supportive and engaging as they would love to. And this obviously creates some tensions and creates potentially turnover, deception in the staff, and obviously performance impact. That leads like with what's next, which is the low engagement and the burnout. And then, of course, is what he said is like a tainted coaching perception, meaning that, again, maybe tapping into the credentials or the degrees, coaching being a particular approach that is not regulated, that the education is, even though it's trying to be standardized and upgraded and upskilled by entities like ICF, it's not a regulated profession. It has been around for, 30 years compared to university that has been around for ages and centuries. So it's kind of relatively new compared to education. And maybe in some cases, there's a doubt about the foundation, the science behind that, right? And that may have like a perception that is not helpful. But eventually and this has prevented them from trying, right? Or give it a try. Then we tap into some coaching opportunities. So one was the challenge in the hierarchical leadership. So how we can start the conversation, especially with the leaders, and start supporting them in asking themselves what being a leader means, right? What's truly meaning of that, beyond the certificates and my personal effort to become a top subject matter expert, right? What type of support can be brought to this complex of organizations? How is the communication working? How is the strategy being designed? Where there are potential synergies, but when there are potential clashes in the resources or in the directions that they are trying to go. What are the succession and rotation plans, right? So on one hand, he mentioned that especially around the staff, there's I'm going back to this hierarchical thing, and he mentioned the word cast. The succession maybe for certain areas might be different from others, right? On one hand, for the staff might not be kind of thought or consider or even, okay, yeah, whatever happens there, it happens. So that may impact rotation. And on the other hand, on the faculty side, perhaps there are too many requirements, or there's a commitment that requires a long process, like take years to get to a certain position. And this may have worked in the past, perhaps when things were more stable in the world, when education was in a certain way, when it was in person. But now we have different models. We have hybrid, we have virtual. People changes. We have new generations that will not stand for 10 years to get a promotion, to get a certain position in a university. So things are changing, and perhaps this invites them to revisit that and figure out what is the best thing moving forward. Actually, this is super important because education is about the future. Education is about tomorrow. It's not about what is today, and certainly it's not about what happened in the past. In the past, we have the learnings. In the past, we have the experience. In the present, we have the challenges, and we have to keep all of our radars open and alert to see what's going on, and use all of that to build the future and to think about the readiness of the future. So if at some point where we find ourselves, or these institutions find themselves investing energy in preserving something, that for me will be like a red flag. Say, okay, maybe there's something here that is not necessarily working towards the future. Maybe we are building something that we are getting stuck in the past. Then it's coaching as a growth tool. Maybe this is a kind of a more, if you want to put it, casual or informal thing. Yes, Maritza is being a lifelong learner. This is kind of thing. I mean, and they are in a way, right? Because if you think of people that has do the research and get all of degrees and diplomas, they are continuous learners, and they love what their subject matter. They love it, and they continue to grow. And it's just expanding that mindset to other areas of their professional, of what means being a professional in that sector, and expanding and keeping the same curiosity, the same eagerness that they put into their own subject matter to becoming a leader. Because eventually, if growing in that sector means that new responsibilities come that imply working with people, leading organizations, it would be awesome that they can have the same level of concern about what are the skills that I need, because they are developing skills to do what they do, right? Whether it is science, whether it is law, whether it is they read a lot, they talk with people, they participate in sessions, they are lecturers, so they do a lot of things to grow themselves on that arena. So it's just refocusing on saying, okay, what can I apply for this too, right? So coaching can be a growth tool. Coaching and other things like mentoring, guidance, or different experiences also of peers can be a growth tool, and particularly feedback. Be open to feedback. And also students embrace coaching as a resource early on. That was I commented. So I don't know if you have been in this session in particular, or if you have any reactions based on what I just commented. That was kind of the highlights of that session. What do you say? I don't know if anything of this resonates with you. And the reason I ask is because in this kind of a curiosity mindset that I have myself, I'm eager to learn if we are being comprehensive, if we are really capturing all of these nuances and all of these challenges in order to connect with these organizations in the future, or if you are in these organizations, and make sure that we understand how to support you. We can find ideas on how to support you. So I don't know if you have any ideas, any suggestions, or any reactions to what I was commenting here. And if not, that's okay. We can continue.
Great presentation, Gaston. Really, you bring to the table a wonderful topic regarding, as I mentioned it, we all are lifelong learners in this uncertainty that we have to swim so marvelous, and many things regarding coaching opportunities are absolutely changing. You mentioned the challenge hierarchical leadership. It's nearly disappearing. Because agility, other frameworks promote a way of work in teams, as in developers teams in IT without any leadership. There's a role as a Scrum Master. Other roles is the product owner, and then the team that works to deliver results, but without any leadership. So it's great. Other thing that I would like to share is that I made my own outplacement in that moment. I met Gabriela Kiriasis, the owner of Polyheroes, in which consultancy I worked. And she certified career coaches. So it's a marvelous academy in which we teach and learn. Those concepts about, we have talked in the other session, active listening, all that related to the coaching aspect. So marvelous, Gaston, this topic.
Thank you, Marisa. So moving on to Tuesday, right? We have the presentation with Marina Kalachan. He is a career coach. He's a psychiatrist, and what we have with her is this work that she does with students, right? She works specifically with students. So she told us about this the work that she does with them, about the career exploration, and how challenging that might be. When I was talking to her, I'm not sure if she mentioned in the session, but when we were talking and prepared the session, she told me that some processes is like nerve-wracking. I mean, when she was telling, I was kind of getting out of myself, right? Because she says on a 6-month process with these students, it's kind of they kind of find their calling at probably the last month of the 6 months. It was like, so you have to hold the space for 6 months practically for them to be able to put everything together, wire everything that they had been talking and discussing, and come up with a attempt of solution or attempt of the destination that they have identified, right? So it's a challenging process. It's a huge white page that they have to fill with ideas, and there's a lot of reflections that obviously perhaps at that age we have so many things going on in terms of achieving, fulfilling maybe expectations from our parents or from society. So it can be challenging, and obviously how having the skill sets and the competencies to cope with things, right, surrounding us, the pandemic or the new technologies or AI or the socio-demographic, socio-political contexts that are very hectic these days. So it's too much to handle, and eventually this is something that perhaps these new generations are facing, perhaps being more exposed since early age than the previous generations, when we were kind of overprotected by our parents and we didn't have access to certain things until we grow up, kind of thing. So navigating uncertainty and change is already complex, and on top of that, they have to figure out how to do it, right? So how to find that secret path that will be their own journey, and identify it in the midst of all of these things that are cluttering their vision, right? And taking out or drawing their attention to different places. So how important was that she shared that holding that space and accompanying them in that process and supporting them in different ways was important. Then on top of that is the intergenerational and technological challenges, right? So this is not only necessary for students, but they have different approaches to certain things. They have different capacities in regards to technologies, and this is especially those students that are in late part of the career that are beginning to have their first interactions in the workplace. What is that interaction going to be with different generations, with different technicians leading and using different technologies, right? So I imagine a person coming now to a workplace where they probably are familiar with social media, they're probably familiar with certain tools or ways of working, and then they have to learn how to use Excel, which is kind of a dying tool, or Word or PowerPoint. They're expected to do that in an office, or how things are run here, and maybe they come with a question mind and they find that they don't have the space to have an opinion, or they're expected to do things in the way that perhaps the rookies were expected to do things years ago, right? So maybe there's a different path, right? Some people there may have some sort of highways in which things are expected to happen. Oh yes, in order to be a general manager, you have to be an analyst, then you have to be a supervisor, then you have to be a manager, then you have to be this, and this will take you, I don't know, 30 years, because this is what it took me to get here. Things are changing. I don't know when I'm gonna be in 5 years. So how I'm supposed to commit to something that, first, is not appealing, secondly, it's not the way I like to do things, and third, I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I change. Maybe I have the possibility of changing my things, right? And actually, these situations may be a poke to these people in these organizations of different generations about, am I in the right place? Am I doing what I'm thriving for? And start questioning that stuff. Building the
and
confidence.
Priorities.
Yeah. The priorities are totally different for each person, certainly. Building the confidence and self-awareness, holding the space for iteration. So this was what Marina was also commenting. There's sometimes you move 3 steps forward and then you have to go 2 steps backward, because in this exploration you realize that, okay, this is not necessarily, so let's go back and forth. And she shared with us this exercise that she does about the tree, right? The visualization about their career in the way of a tree, trying to, what is the purpose, what is the values, what are the things that will help them grow and flourish in whatever they do, right? And obviously tapping into their strengths and purpose. So this is obviously an exercise that she shared with us, and that she works with the students, and certainly was very enlightening for me, because some of the ideas that we have is actually working with students. So having this context, having someone like Marina that we can tap into, and support us in this process is amazing. So again, here it's open to anyone that may have been present in that session, or that someone that may have a thought or a feeling about these things that we have been discussing about the students, right? So again, if anyone wants to share something, it's totally open. You can put it in the chat, or you can share it with raise your hand and share it. Just that.
Boy, and Gaston.
Yeah.
I didn't actually attend the session. This is the first higher ed one I've been able to, but my background is in higher education, and one of the biggest challenges is how the world has changed, and how higher education, that structure of, we're putting them into career paths, and this is your pathway, and when people change careers 3-4 times, and younger students today we're good about helping them understand their subject matter expertise, but a lot of times we don't help them identify their strengths and their skills in an effective communicative way. Because for me, in undergraduate, I studied Spanish and international studies. And of course, everybody's like, well, what do you do with that? Teach? I was like, no, I don't know. I mean, this was 20 years ago. But it's I didn't understand at the time that, like the communication piece of it and understanding of, working in dual language environments, and there's what's said, what's not said, the way it's said, and you start to learn all of those nuances. And we don't necessarily, teach students how to identify those things and think of them in broader perspectives. And so it's, for those of us who are, 41 and still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up, of just holding space for that it's okay. This is not your final, this is not what the final outcome of this. And the working world is shifting into looking at skill sets more, and strengths than necessarily, okay, what is your degree in? But I think that's one piece that we're missing out on in colleges and universities, because it is so siloed and structured. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz. No, and certainly I feel, and obviously we go back to how these organizations, how the education institutions help us or prepare us for in different ways, right? So they give us, okay, you have this kind of library of resources, but what about the other things, right? How, what you were saying, right? How they give us support, how they interact with our what is the interaction of with other people? Irina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Irina. Yes, I'm just a life and career coach. I worked in Toronto in the nonprofit sector, but my background is like I'm a master degree in teaching. And I tell you my experience that I used to work with a lot of I had a lot of experience with teaching teenagers, yes, and working with high school. And I have my son, he's also, like this age. So I know everything. I'm like at the present moment with everything, especially with changes that happening now with and how they should deal with them. So first of all, I would like to say that that generation, those teenagers, that's totally different that's happening now. Yes, for sure. And I see it's like on my son, just these changes. But I tell you for sure, I wish I could have the coach. I wish I could have the opportunity, like mentoring, coaching, in that time that I, had my high school. How? Because it's like super crucial. Yes. Why it's super crucial? I would like to, because you actually mentioned a lot in your presentations. Thank you so much. It's really informative and interesting. So, but if you're because this stage, the high school, this is the most crucial stage, like ever, they form physically, mentally, emotionally, like all aspects. Yes, this is the age that they, just go through to be adult, to be, like a real human that they want to be, not to watch friends that could be with bad habits, like that mostly that happens, but watch on the mentors, and identify values, identify skills, identifying, try to teach them identifying patterns that they, built in their life path, so, and because for me, awareness is super crucial. When they build, how they identify everything, what they think, what they feel, whatever, because they don't understand what's going on with them, guys. I'm sure they don't understand themselves, even physically. Like they just try to deal with that, but they don't know. That's why, I think coaching, it should be in, it's not should be, it's must, it's like super must be in the higher education. Because this stage, if they pass them decent with a decent coach, I think they will be super successful generation, and I always was a good coach, not only teacher, but a coach, because I always listen them, what they want, yes, what they hide, what they fear, because sometimes they don't speak with parents. I think most of the time they don't speak with parents. They don't see parents like as how to say, no, I don't say I speak generally, yes. Of course, of them, some teenagers love parents, and some of them follow their, but most of them not. They see parents, but some of them, they find coaches and friends, yes. Especially girls, something happened, I go to my friend and I talk everything about happened with my boyfriend on everything, yeah. So this is like crucial that the specialist professionals, yes, just follow their emotions, like IQ, EQ, you know, whatever they pass, and just build the decent generation, you know, just because it's our future.
Totally,
First of all, you know.
totally. No, I think that is totally true what you say. Teenagers are obviously rupturing with the adults. They're trying to find the way, and they kind of observe models and break models and trying to create their own mold, right? And sometimes parents obviously are the ones that, I mean, yes, we follow or admire or not, or we break because yes, we want some things, we like some things of them, but we don't like other things, and then it's this kind of situation, right? Different role models, and then you turn into your friends and your colleague, which are because, and I think that this is telling us, this is screaming at us, saying, I feel confidence, I feel trust with this group of people, and certainly they don't see the same thing, because probably when they go to their parents tell them what to do, or their professors tell them what to do, or give them this is what you need to know. But no, not necessarily it's easy to listen to them. And again, as I was saying, when Marina said that you have to be very patient to listen to them, because it takes like 6 months to define what they want to do. And if you are a parent and you have to go to work, you have other kids, you have the house, you want to do something for yourself, you want to go to the gym, I certainly understand that it's super difficult to hold the space for 6 months for each of your kids to say one thing. What is it that you want to do, or which university do you want to go, etc. So it's super challenging, but eventually, yes, coaches, and I always see there's a lot of parents that are offering or looking for coaches, career coaches for their kids, right? The question is, are these kids coachable, right? But that's another question. But it's interesting what you say, Irina.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you
I
very
would like
much.
to add about the career. Yes, as a career coach, I try to identify with them short and long-term goals, you know, because this is like very important. Because we don't have backgrounds of these kids, you know, some of them like from the very poor families, you know, and this is the different mindset, and we don't know what the parents' mindset, the model of the, you know, the relationship they grew up, you know. So that's why, you know, sometimes I'm just listen them and say, look, if you don't have money for your education, just put the short-term goals, go and make this money, you know, like, I mean, after that, yeah, just do it. But please keep it your path, like, you know, keep it your goals, keep it your values, do it like, and if you see the university, if you want this university, because some of them really want, but they don't have opportunity, just short-term goals, make this money, you can do it. Yes, especially we live here, like, I mean, in Canada and then in US, kids start work early. Yes, they can do it. But in Europe, like, I'm from Europe, yes, we didn't do it. So, I mean, like most of the, you know, they couldn't. So, but that's why, like, you can do it. Yes, put these goals, like, select like your, yes, the long goal, and you just, you know, like, continue. And that's it. Because if they see target, if they see where they going, it's simpler to even them, you know, to correct, you know, like that way. Thank you so much, everyone.
No, thank you, Irina. Thank you, Irina, for your contribution. Much appreciated. And last but not least, we have, as I said before, we have on Wednesday and Thursday, we have Marisa Villacio and Karina Ovahimian, who are here too as participants, sharing the story of Karina. It was a transformational coaching journey where we observe what the combination of passion and purpose, how that can lead into success not measured, but winning awards, but you feel successful, right? You feel it in your body. It feels it's fulfilling. It replenish every cell in your body with that. There are success. I'm not I'm not a competitive. I'm not a type A person, so I'm not measure success like winning stuff. No, it's successful. Is fulfillment. Is realization. Is that, and this is what we were able to witness in this conversation, and how Karina shared her story, right? So we also learned that career planning is a lifelong journey, right? Like what Marisa was saying, we are lifelong learners, and this is it, right? Career coaching is every step of our life, and obviously perhaps different stages, we have different approaches, so we can go further, maybe changing sectors, changing functions, could be stuff like that, but doing more or less the same, or doing a 180 turn, right? So those are the things that are important, and the coaching principles applied at every step. Even if you, if you a basic career plan, you have to plan it, then you have to plan for the transition and prepare for the transition. Once you transition, you have to, coaching can support you during the transition to be successful at what you're doing, to achieve performance. And eventually, once you get to a certain point, coaching can help you to figure out what is your next step, or are you fulfilled? Are you there? Or is there something else for you? What is left, right? I don't know. There's always more. There's always more. I mean, if you crave things, if you crave life, if you crave opportunities, it's interesting. I had this weird dream, and I'm sharing with you, right? I said I would love to be a vampire, to be immortal, and to be able to learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and keep learning. So that was kind of the vision that I have. But yes, it's there's so much to learn, so much to do, so much to know, that sometimes can be overwhelming in my case, right? To try to do so many things and not have enough time. So thanks again, Marisa and Karina. And again, if you were able to attend the session, if you have any comments, please do share them. And now I'm just checking my time just for the second time. And of course, you will have the recordings of all of these sessions very soon posted in our website. So the key takeaways for me in this week was that coaching can be a strategic ally for education organizations. This is something that we have to believe in ourselves. And especially, I know that it might be challenging to show up to these organizations and say, hey, I don't have the PhDs, I don't have the master degrees and all of the credentials you have. And I certainly admire you for your effort, but I'm a coach and I can help you in a different manner as a coach. Hopefully I can create the space, I can be there for you, listen to you, ask questions that are powerful enough to question yourself and to identify new perspectives. And eventually we can move into a co-creation space and I can be your co-pilot in this future that you are building for you. Higher education can benefit from a holistic support. And I think that this is important, and this is how coaching can help, okay? Because we can start asking them, who should be in this room with us? If you are with faculty, who should be in this room? Who is that? Who is missing? Who are not we considering? What about the students? What about the staff? What about the leaders? What about the parents? What about the community? What about the corporations that will eventually employ, or the companies that will eventually employ our students? What is our relationship? What is the ecosystem? And how well-oiled this ecosystem is working? Coaching can foster reflection and growth, that we know, and certainly we will have that. And coaching can add value every step of the way, right? This is an iterative process, and it can help the students, it can help the faculty, it can help the staff for making decisions about the career, for making decisions about how they want to show up to their work, right? So if you are interested in joining our programs, our pilot programs, please connect with us. The idea is to create tailored programs that will be a combination of one-on-one coaching, group coaching, or team coaching, depending on whether this is actually working in a team, and eventually ad hoc webinars that we will find depending on the topic, right? And for this, we will tailor that, and we have different ideas, right? And this is kind of what I would like to have your first impressions and reactions, right? So we have identified in principle these four audiences: the students, the staff, the faculty, and the leaders. And then we have identified and talk about different focus of coaching, right? One thing that apply for students could be the internship interview preparation. So how we can support them through it. Like this will be like a short, very targeted program to support them and prepare them for interviewing processes when they are in the last years of their careers, perhaps, and they want to apply to an internship. So how we can support them from the coaching perspective, right? Then another one, it would be internship support coaching. So this would be while they are in the internship coaching, in the internship, practice, how we can support them to learn about what this experience is given to them right? They come with the knowledge, they come with the theoretical concepts, and now they are getting their first experience in a workplace, right? In a work environment. How are they feeling? What they are feeling? What is this new relationship that they have to build with bosses, with managers, with stakeholders, with peers? What is that like? So the idea is to support them and create a program that helps the students onto that. Obviously, career coaching. This could be anything that we can put together. Well-being support. We know that there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of expectations, own expectations, other people's expectations, and this can create a lot of stress and burnout. There are different ways in which we learn, we acquire knowledge, and sometimes the standards or the ways that certain universities, certain classes are might be different from our own style, and we may be challenged, and this creates tension. I know I always heard that going through a test is stressful, and I know the day before you don't sleep, the day in the morning you have cramps, so it's very nerve-wracking, and eventually if you have to present an essay, you feel less stress. So that's something that we can do. And then, of course, we have the well-being support, and the career coaching can be applicable for anyone, as we were saying. Then we have leadership coaching that can be for staff, for faculty, for leaders. And of course, team and group coaching that can be staff, faculty, and leaders. So those are kind of ideas that we have in mind. So if you feel very interested in attending or collaborating or participating, whether you are a coach and you want to be involved in this, whether you are a member of an educational institution and you want to learn more about it, please reach out to us, and we would love to create this pilot, right? The idea is to, yes, we're going to a little bit research academia here because we want to try these models, these packages, these solutions, and see and demonstrate effectively that coaching works, right? We would like to measure this, and we would like to make sure that this is something that we can share. So you're invited here. So co-create the future of coaching in higher education. So we invite you to join us and reach out, partner with us in the pilots, whether as a volunteer coach supporting this or leading one of the projects, or eventually, if you are an institution, bringing us, opening up your institution and your organization for us to give it a try. Share your ideas. If you have ideas about this, if you have perspective, if you have documentations, please, we would love to build a library of contents and resources that are available for this particular topic. And stay connected, right? Stay connected with us, and hopefully we can continue the conversation. As I said, this is just the beginning. These were just a few days when we connected. We were at that saying, hey, we are coaches of ICF South Florida. We would like to talk about the power and the potential positive impact that coaching can have on higher education organizations. And we're starting the conversation. Now we will continue making the connections, making these first conversations, having these first initial coffees about getting to know each other and what we can do, what would be possible, and how we can support from our standpoint, from what we know how to do to support the future, the designing of the future of education, right? And how we can be as coaches the bridge to possibilities, right? Eventually, I know that we might be falling into what is called the soft skills. Yeah, you want to call it soft skills, fine with me. We are here to help you, and this is how we will do it. So, as I said, stay in touch, be there for us, and here's the QR code if you want to fill in the survey for today's session. But also there are some additional comments fields that you can type anything. So, for instance, yes, I will be interested in joining you as a volunteer. Yes, I want to get involved as a participating organization. Please do feel free to put that into the comments, and we will reach out for you, and we will start those conversations and those coffees, right? So,
excuse me, can you just turn the slide before? I will just take a picture with the context. Thank you so much.
Yeah, which one?
With your contact details, yeah.
This one?
No, I think it's the next one. I think it's like, where's your email?
Ah, okay. So it's contact details. Sorry.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, it's here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Because I'm super interested in that.
Awesome. Glad that you are. So thanks everyone for just checking the Sharon. I am certified coach, currently present myself on my faculty at the university, and my university is fully invested in coaching, awesome, and has realized the power of coaching for its employees. We recently established a coaching program that has become very successful. Employees who have gone through the level 1 training have expressed that the training has revolutionized. I'd love to connect with you, Sharon, and learn more about it, because this is super, super interesting and important, right? How to become a part of it. Irina, you have my contact. We can connect. Karen, thank you for being there and supporting us, and thank the assemblies for you. So, Sharon, okay, gotcha. I will write to you. Thanks a lot. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Right? Thank you for being interested in this series. I will stop sharing so we can see our faces. And thanks a lot for being there. I like that we have been able to chat a little bit and to share you were able to share some ideas. So let's stay in touch.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. And
Happy,
of course,
happy Friday.
Happy Friday. You have a few sessions left for the day, and then tomorrow, if you are in Miami and you're willing to do some Zumba, 8:30 in Coconut Grove. You can find more details in our website.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations,
bye, everyone.
Gaston. Great week.
Thank you. Thank you, Marisa. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.